Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 126 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we are going to work on creating resin from chemicals. Enjoy! It looks like it's a complicated process, but a lot of this is pretty compact. The big stuff is down here at the bottom, where it's 12 algae farms, and then the 24 assembling machines again, making methanol gas. And then from there, we've got a couple of machines doing various chemical conversions to get it into liquid resin and then into regular resin. And that's pretty simple. Not a lot goes into that. So the main thing we need to worry about is just the algae farm part. Okay, well, we got some space right here to build. So you basically need another one of these, pretty much exactly, really. So we need to make an exact copy. Plop it right there. I kind of want to let this basically get caught up, and it seems like it more or less has already. So let's take all the drones out and just leave one drone, which should be more than enough. That will leave more rocket fuel for the other trains. We could actually convert this to an unloader, just for clean belts. The rest of this stuff is smaller, so we probably can get by building it with the nanobots. Now we need 20 liquefiers, or 10 liquefiers per side. And that's also already being done right here. So we can copy this right here. I don't know if it's going to fit. It might not. Oh, it looks like it will. Let's see, we don't need any circuit network on here. It can just run all the time. Probably just want to upgrade this to red because it seemed to help before. That's the big stuff. Now we just need a handful of chemical plants and air filters. Looks like we can keep the oxygen and hydrogen side separate here. So that will be making the red metal catalyst. And then we can do like an underground right there. Actually, we might be able to do it on both sides here. We'll need to get that carbon dioxide hooked up. And we'll create some purified water here. I'm not sure what we're going to want to do with it. It would be nice to use it for something, just so we're not wasting it. Well, we do have this tank right here. Yeah, but we'll see what we can do. That's probably the best place to put it. So there's the purified water. And then our urea. And now we need to do the formaldehyde, which is a result of all the work we're doing up there. We can also make methanol directly from hydrogen and carbon dioxide if we really want to. Actually, considering that both hydrogen and carbon dioxide are already going to be right here, we're also going to be producing the green metal catalyst right here as well. So really, it's just freebie logic to throw that in there. So we probably want to plan for that here. So we have our normal way of making formaldehyde, and the input will be right up there. But also, let's see, what kind of output are we going to need here? Well, we need 150 methanol gas, so let's calculate that. And there it is. Of the output of 150, we need 1.8. We're also doing something similar to that down here, but this particular setup is actually only being used to get rid of excess carbon dioxide. It's not meant to produce methanol normally. So I'm fine with leaving this setup here since it's pretty compact, and building a new setup right up here. to handle this specific situation. Let's see, we can have a tank, and the input will come down there. However, let's see. Let's grab a pump, and we'll say if methanol gas is less than, let's say 20% of capacity, which is 10,000, this method will turn on. Which has its two inputs. And have this set up making the green ones. And actually this one needs some catalyst as well. I'm not sure if all four of these machines can be run on one here. Well, probably. We got 0.4 here, so we probably can get by. This one machine servicing all this. Okay, that's going to shoot out the formaldehyde. This one's going to shoot out the urea, which is what we turn into the liquid resin. There we go, that's all stitched in there. We need 8.6, but 10 is a much more even number. I think we have most of the constituent parts here, so now we need to start placing it all. Well, this guy can be really anywhere. Let's say, like right here. And we can get this hooked up the proper way. There we go, and we'll just let it fill up all the way. We'll need to deliver some resources up here. Let's just push these belts to the side to make it cleaner. Okay, we need some requests. So one of these is going to request aluminum, 1 drone's worth, and one's going to request silver, 1 drone's worth. And eventually, those are going to make their way up. While those requests are coming in, let's get the rest of this lined up. So we can get this kind of lined up somewhere over here and a little bit down. And I think that will line up pretty well. Because then we can kind of come up here, connect there, and boom. And this other one can get lined up somewhere like right here. Yes. Okay, the resources are coming in. Instead of constantly moving all these ores around, it might be better just to move the catalyst and just deal with having a whole bunch of stuff moving around. But despite the complication of doing this at each setup, we're only using, you know, 2 ores per process, but then we're making 10 carriers, so that would be much more logistically complicated to be moving the catalyst around compared to just the ores. So we should probably keep doing it the way we are. But there, that's going. Make it the formaldehyde, which is filling up the various machines. Okay, looks about right. About 200 catalysts in there. Now we need to start hooking up all of these pipes. Let's see, oxygen. We could just go straight down, but that would basically consume this empty space. It might be better just to go to the left here. It might make this area a little busier, but it will clean up the rest of the factory. So I kind of want to do that. So let's send the oxygen through here, because oxygen is a byproduct here, so we need to send it to the bus. And there we go. And now we need hydrogen as an input here. So we'll connect to this next one right here. And hydrogen is necessary as an input on that side, as well as over here. And there we go, connected. We have carbon dioxide as an input on this side, as well as this side. And the inserters are kind of in the way here. So, as annoying as it may be, to go the extra long way around here, I think we kind of have to get around those inserters. And we'll take this down to carbon dioxide, which is actually right up there, but let's take it here because it's also, I believe, yes, on this spot right here. And now this is running a little bit, but it's just filling up the pipes. So that's good. We needed to get rid of this extra water, which is going to be a little tricky. It's honestly probably more trouble than it's worth, but I can't help myself, so I'm going to try to save the water. Without doing any extra work, we'd want to hook it up right here. So we'll kind of hook up here. Just keep going straight up. And take it all the way out here. Now, unfortunately, these pipes are kind of in the way a little bit, but we can swing it around. And there we go. The water is hooked up. I think we just need to get these red metal catalysts taken care of. And we do have a little spot right here. We can send a belt up just to keep it as clean as possible. In the middle here, in case we need to put something else there. But that does mean this part gets even more crowded. See, I think the underground distance of the red belt is 10, so if we want to have 2 more of these, we're going to need some more space right here. So we need to request some copper, 1 drone, and some iron. 1 drone. Looks like this isn't connected yet, so that's good. Just so we can see how all this operates. Looks like rocket fuel is caught up, and it's actually used up all of our nitric acid, so probably want to give that a little bit of time to catch up. But it's filled up, so should be pretty good. And looks like all these trains are filled up. I took out all the extra drones, so there's just the 1 in there, so it's not, it doesn't have a huge quantity of resources stuck inside that depot. So we're gonna have to wait a little while before we can start sending rocket fuel to other places. So we need to get this up here. There is an empty space right up here that we can use. And while we're waiting, we have the last little bit. We need to have our 5 assembling machines turning all of this into fantastic resin. And 5 is a weird number, so we'll do 6. And the total amount of resin we're making is 7.5. So 1 belt is all we need. And we need to figure out exactly where to put this, but I guess we could put it right there. And that'll be creating some resin, which we can go off to the side here, just to leave the space open. It'll get us a supply depot in here. Filling up, and I'm not sure exactly how many drones we'd want. So we'll do resin. Has to be less than 8,000 to fill up. So I see we got a delivery of some ore. So it's going up and in. We'll see how this works. Looks good, filled up on urea. Let's let this top off. See if we have a good number of catalysts in here. Yep, pretty close to 200, so that looks good. Okay, I think we're ready to hook this up and see if it works in full. So why aren't these getting full? Is there a missing pipe? Yes. Right there. Oh, looks like it's right here as well. There we go. Lots of green, and look at all that resin. That's 75 trees worth of resin going down the belt there. So this is a much more efficient way of making it. Plus, the great thing about it is we're not really doing anything special. We're just using resources the factory already has. Oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide. So we're just basically taking those basic elements and mixing them into what we need. Most things seem green. Makes sense that this isn't, because it's only to top off methanol gas if this system can't keep up. And it's all green, so it looks like it's going as fast as it can. So I'm pretty happy there. And all of our resin is making it to the supply depot. Now, if we really wanted to, we can take this resin and put it on the bus here, because we are using some resin basically to make rubber, but that's only for circuit wires. So I don't really see the need to do that, especially because this whole thing's going to get rebuilt with our new resources. So it's probably unnecessary optimization, but I think we're doing pretty good here. We've got the resin, and we've got the basic insulating boards. Ferric chloride is fairly simple, and we can make that on site. So with that, I believe that just about every resource we need is ready to go. Some of it isn't on the network, like plastic bars, but we can put that on there pretty quick on some drones. That's pretty easy to do. But it looks like we've got everything we need. So now we need to figure out where to put it. Well, it is a bit crowded in here, and certainly more stuff is going to go in here over time, and much of this area here is reserved for expansion of our sorting and refining processes. We certainly don't want to put it near the old bus, and this area is there, but we just claimed all of this, so we might as well go really far out, because why not? We have a logistics network for a reason. So we probably won't need that much space to build circuits. Based on the quantity of assembling machines, we should probably be putting these on the bus, because I don't think they're on the bus yet. I've already got the boards done. Ferric chloride's pretty good, but yeah, see, there's some pretty big quantities of electronics assemblers here. So, I mean, it's going to be a little large, but not insane. But we probably should just place it based on what's available. And actually, now that I look at it, this whole area right here is kind of empty. Like, there's ores right here, and then there's a sanguinate. That's a pretty big sapphire right there, and then it's just nothing. Plus, we do have tracks right here. So yeah, how about we try to claim this area? Okay, so this process stopped already. So what's the hold up here? Ah, oxygen gas is at 100%. That makes sense. I mean, we could burn it off to make more space, but all we have to do is produce some materials, and that oxygen will become available again. So we'll just leave it. Uh-oh, I kind of blocked this in here. There we go. Well, since we're doing a lot of construction, we probably want to take the crawler with us. It's pretty crowded right in here. Okay, well, we need some electronics assembling machines. And they're pretty simple here. Plates, wheels, and boards. Do we have that available? We actually do, on this giant line right here. It's kind of funny how that works. That pretty much everything uses this one group of belts. Looking good. Looks like it's not going to take very long to make all of those. Let's see, we need to pick a random spot to start it. It's kind of arbitrary where we pick it here, but we have to start somewhere. So let's see, what kind of size are we looking at here? We probably want to leave like this much space for expansion maybe. It's probably a bit much, but I mean, we certainly could put landfill down if we need it. Let's do something like this. Let's see, we need some hazard concrete. Let's see, but we can do something like this. And then we have an underground distance of red belts, which is longer than the yellows. And they go to right there. Which means we can get away with this as a width for one set of belts. And then we need to kind of just guess what each belt's going to be used for. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we can try to go down the line here. We'll try to put these things in here to try to mark them as best we can here. Maybe we should just count the number of resources here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And those are the basic resources. Technically we need iron as well, but we probably don't need to put it on the bus, because that iron is just going into this ferric chloride solution. So we can just keep all of this close to where the transport drones are, rather than busing all that stuff. So we have 11 items. Let's leave the rest of this belt here for more items if we need them, because this is potentially going to expand over time as we want to add more circuits to this. And now we need to handle the circuit boards themselves. And each board has 3 stages. The board, circuit board, and then electronic board. And we're doing approximately 1 belt of the basic boards and then less for the rest of them. But that's basically 6. And then let's leave those open for additional board types of the future. Always want to make the bus bigger than you think it needs to be, just so it can expand. And then I'd like to expand into modules at some point. It's hard to say exactly how many belts we'd need for that, but let's just give ourselves 2 more. Okay, so that's the general shape of the bus. And we're basically starting at the top here, but we can expand either up or down, probably both, really. But we do want to try to push it as close to here as we can. Oh, there is some coal up there. So we probably don't want to block that, but let's see here. Well, since we know where the bus is, we can clear out a space. It's pretty much guaranteed that it's going to take up this whole area. And we'll let the bots get started on that. That's going to take them a while. So the beginning of this process is train station. And off camera, I was working on a train station for this. This is a dynamic unloading station. And you can see how it is fairly clean in its design, but it's not straight because of how trains work. So we'll want to try to space this in a way that makes sense. So basically, trains come in through here and they leave through here, which means that this probably needs to make it to the main line, and then all this empty space needs to be here for the train stuff. And we'll go through what all this does after it's built. So you can see how it takes up a significant amount of space. That's why I wanted to know where this bus was going to be, so we had an idea of where to start it. This can handle 8 resources at a time. Doesn't matter really the verticality of it. But let's see how this is going to go here. I'm going to line it up with that. Okay, that's not too bad. As you can see here, it lines up pretty well. Probably want to push it as high as we can get it and not actually block any of that coal. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. Oh, I see another biter up there. Not much of one. But he was guarding the coal. So we want this to go up here, but not quite block all of that. So it's probably going to end up being somewhere like down here. Which means that we have more trees in the way. Probably going to need to go through here and fill up all these little sections of water. Well, while the bots are working, I can run around and look for some unique wildlife to chop down here. Alright, we got the trees out of the way. It's Tree-mageddon out here. That was a pretty thick forest. Let's see here. So it needs to line up right here. And then we can place it up right there. Unlike the other loading stations, I set this one up so it can come in from either side of the track and leave from either side of the track, so we don't have to really worry about that now. But we do need to get this kind of hooked into the main line here. And do it in such a way that doesn't cover the coal. Because I was thinking, hey, as long as we don't cover the coal, we're fine, but I forgot that the track has to come around again. But that is okay. It can just come through the long way. Let's see, there's some oil here too, so we probably don't want to be going over that either. So probably it's going to be a little long, but it's probably going to be like up here to the water and then back down. Okay, that seems like most of it. So we're going to need to go back to get some bridges and some underground belts. And I kind of don't want to drive all the way back there. So let's use the train stop here. Because I want to kind of double check this to make sure this all looks good. It basically does. But as seen by putting this loop here, this kind of forces all of the trains to turn around when they could much faster get into these loading stations if this track connected on both sides. So let's see if we can get that set up. And looks like this is almost at the point of being caught up, but not quite. But good enough for now. Now we have rocket fuel car. Rocket fuel car is convenient, but a little fast. Probably the only safe way to get here is to follow the road. Oh yeah, but I was going to fix those train tracks first. Okay, it doesn't look like we need to fix this other side here. We'll just put a signal in there and leave the loop in, because who knows, it might be useful. These top sides look pretty good. We don't have to worry about those right now. But I do kind of want to concentrate on these intersections. They're sufficiently complicated to where we probably should be doing a roundabout of sorts. So let's build one in here. Feels a little weird to be building the roundabout in place like this, but we can make a blueprint from this to make future connections easier. Doesn't quite look symmetrical. Gotta make it perfect. Let's see, so there's one gap in the middle of each of these, and then one gap in the middle of those, and then there's 3 individual sections right there. There we go. Okay. Let's get the signals perfect again, and try to put them in all the symmetrical places. can't quite do it up here, but we have to pick one. Let's do this one. Do the same thing along each section. Haha. Probably should have a wire right in the middle here. We'll leave one section of extra track on each end. Okay. Now we got to put it in the blueprint book and figure out what to name it. Let's call it round, about, rail, and a 4 for 4 exits. And then there we go. Nice. And we should put it in this one too, because this one's kind of messy as well. Look at all these power poles and everything in here. Not pretty. Yeah, we're definitely going to need to put some rails in here. Probably need to make a bridge version of this as well. Unfortunately. Well, let's see. Is that going to be in the way? Not entirely, just the poles are. Alright, let's upgrade this. Rail doesn't seem to be in here for upgrade planner. That's kind of annoying if that's the case. Yeah, it should be in logistics. Interesting. Oh well, probably gonna have to make it by hand then. That is a problem for another day. There we go. That roundabout seems set up. So train should have freedom getting through there. Hopefully. Sometimes you never know until you try to drive a train through and find out the track's in the wrong spot. I won't worry about fixing the top areas here, because they look like they're lined up pretty well. Okay, so we need some bridges. Seems pretty good. And that's the end of this episode. On the next one, we're going to talk about this new LTN unloading station and how it works. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.